Americans love their trucks, and nothing is more American than the classic look of a Chevrolet C10 pickup. Today on Motorhead Garage, we'll show you some great ways to keep your classic truck looking brand new. All that and more coming up next.
This is Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, and this is a very cool episode because we have this 1970 Chevy C10 truck. It's a great looking truck on the outside. It's cool on the inside too, I think, because it's really like a time machine. I mean, this is what it looked like 50 years ago, except for a couple of changes. And 3-point seat belts have been added to make this thing safer, and the owner has whited out some of the gauges on the dash to give it a cooler look. But speaking of cooler look, Dave is here from Brothers Trucks, and we're going to do a little bit of gussying up on the interior here. What do you have in store for today?
Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make this a little bit more comfortable, and we're going to upgrade little things. We're going to take our carpeting out. We're going to go ahead and put some sound deadening in, get it nice and quiet so we can hear our speakers better. We're going to go ahead and get our seat in a more comfortable position so it's a lot easier to drive. I got a few other little blings that I'm going to go ahead and show for you too.
Very cool. So obviously we need to pull everything out and start from the ground up, right?
Right, yeah, you've only got a few bolts on the bottom. It's no big deal. We'll be out of there in no time at all.
Let's get started with carpet.
Right on.
All right, one of the first things we're going to do is put some tape down because we didn't want to mess up the paint here.
Right, you're always going to be careful scratching up your paint. You don't want to do damage when you're trying to upgrade.
And then we take the sill plates off because those are our original equipment.
Right.
We don't want to scratch those up. We want to keep those fresh.
Yeah, right. Even when we're going to be putting new sill plates on, I still like to save that stuff because sometimes I'll put it on a patina truck or something like that. Maybe one of my buddies can use it. So always keep everything.
And then, of course, it was time to take the seats out, and you noticed a couple of things as we looked around the original bench seat. A couple things were missing.
The bolts out, yeah, several bolts missing. I understand when you're putting things back together, you might just go, okay, I just got to stick a couple of bolts in here, but be safe. Put all your bolts in.
Safe ride for sure.
Right.
And then the seat belts are sticking through, so we had to work on those.
Right, just push them on through and unbolt them.
Yep.
Yeah.
The trickiest part here, we had the bolt holding the seat belts down.
Right.
It was a tough angle to get to.
Yeah, the 3-point bolt system has that extra bolt on the side that kind of gets in your way. So you can take that off or just the bracket like I did because I was honestly a little lazy.
Now, we had taken the passenger side sill plate off because that's the side we took the seat out of.
Right.
Now it's time to get the carpet off, so we took the second sill plate off.
Right.
Again, same deal.
Yeah.
Saving that as the original, making sure we still had it in good shape. Now, there were some speakers already under the seat here, so we had to contend with those.
Right, yeah, just be careful. Always stuff hiding underneath there, so don't just grab stuff and rip it out. Take your time and watch for little things that are going to snag you.
There's nothing like a project where you get partway into it and you pull a wire thinking it doesn't do anything or doesn't mean anything. And
right. Now you got more work.
You got it.
Right.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder.
Right.
I love it. Finally, time for the carpet to come out. This is the original carpet. It was in decent shape.
It was in real good shape for the age. Yeah, crazy good.
Came out a lot easier than I thought it would. I thought it'd be a little more rotten. So.
Yeah. I think time machine description you had was absolutely perfect.
Cool, and then which leads us to the sound deadening material that was underneath. I thought we would pull that carpet up and just see a mess, a gooey mess of who knows what.
Oh, yeah. Normally that is what you'll find. You normally find glue, rust, all kinds of stuff down there. So what you're going to want to do is clean that up really, really well, because what we're going to be doing is sticking on some sound deadener, and sound deadener does not stick to dirt, rust, and everything else. So we get in there, we use degreaser. Degreaser also does not like to stick to stuff. So after we use the degreaser, I like to use a wax and grease. In a pinch, you can use carburetor cleaner, brake cleaner, and get that clean. Then go ahead and blow it all off. It has to be absolutely dry in order to have that stick.
We want to make sure this is totally dry to put our stuff in, so let's get to it. We'll finish blowing this out. Dave's going to do that during the break. We will be right back to show you more on the interior of this cool Chevy C10 right after this on Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat. Hit it.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Eclipse Surface Technologies, high-quality, utterly efficient, and economical dustless blast equipment. Tire Cradle, the original solution to tire flat spotting. And by Top Coat, advanced coating solutions through innovation and technology.
You are riding along with Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, and we are in this really cool 1970 Chevy C10. I'm with Dave Welch from Brothers Trucks. The last segment, we started to give this interior a little bit of an overhaul. We started by tearing out the seats, taken everything out of the car, including the carpet, the sound deadening material that was in it, and of course the residue cleanup at the end to make sure that our sound deadener would stick into it. And then you rolled out the sound deadener for us during the break here. I got to tell you, when you came in with this stuff, I thought you were kidding. I thought we were going to see an entire mat that was going to cover the floor for sound deadening, but just these little tiny pieces?
Covering every square inch is a bit of an overkill, and you have consequences to that. First of all, it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars for that stuff. When you cut it out and lay it down, it takes 5, 6, 7 hours to do all that. If you have to roll it all out. If you don't cover up and get into every single nook and cranny and you have an air pocket there, then moisture is going to harbor there, and then it's going to cause rust on your floor. So we don't need to go to all that trouble. If you have just a square inch, it'll sound deaden a square foot.
Now, all the kits from Brothers Trucks come with instructions, very easy to follow. And we looked at the diagram to see where all the sound deadening fit in this truck, and we wanted to dry fit it to make sure it all is there and to make sure it goes in the right place.
Yeah, you start gluing too soon and then you're gonna make a mess. So trial fit first, then glue down.
Take your time with these.
Yep.
So they can be hard to peel.
Yeah.
And once you get them down, they're down.
Yeah.
They're really super sticky.
You're not gonna get a second chance.
So you want to be gentle the first time. Use your hands, just use your fingers to mat it down, and then what do you do from there?
Then you want to roll it out. And if you don't have a roller, no big deal. Just get yourself a spray can, a really big socket, and roll it out, but make sure it's really good and flat.
Perfect. You don't need any special tools.
No.
And then we did have one wire to contend with before we get to the next step. It was in the back of the cab, and
that is your gas sending unit wire. So I just like to tape those down, because when you're doing all of this and you're looking for holes and things like that, and you have the razors and stuff, you could easily do damage to the wire. So tape them where they're not going to be anywhere near anything that's getting bolted down or any holes you're going to be cutting out.
So on to the next step, the heat shielding insulation.
Right.
Once again, there's a diagram from Brothers Trucks. We check that out. There are hole guides on it as well, so we can get a general idea of where the holes are we're going to need. And we looked at the diagram, got everything dry fit and laid out to see how that looks.
Yeah, again, you only get one shot at this. If you glue it down and then you try to pull it up, it's just a bloody mess. So really have it set up, pull part of it down, only pull part of it up, put glue on the metal and put glue on the Judy, and then use your hand to roll it down.
And take your time with it.
Right, yeah.
You don't have to be surgically precise with this step.
Not really. A little bit here or there. You have the tape that you're going to go on top. You know, you want to get it as close as possible, but you don't have to break your back on it.
Here's a tip I like, marking all the holes with screwdrivers. Start with a little one that's going to poke through the surface.
Right.
And then mark it, then replace it with a big one as you go.
Right, because trying to find them after the fact is tougher. If you don't have 16 screwdrivers, all you got to do is just get a sharp, pokey thing, climb underneath the truck, and then just poke up and you can cut around the holes, but I don't want to climb underneath the truck.
We glue down the first section and make sure you cover both surfaces.
Right.
Now we start up in the footwell, work our way back. The only tricky part here is marking those holes, Dave.
Just like to make sure that they're marked. It is on the padding, but sometimes it'll be a little bit off, depending on how you put it down. When I cut the holes out, I like to make it a generous hole to cut out also, because the thickness of the Judy on the back of the carpet also, you get 2 layers, then it's going to be pretty thick, and sometimes it makes it difficult to bolt down the seat or something. So cut them out generous and it'll make it easier on yourself.
And the kit from Brothers Trucks comes with some great silver tape to trim it all up.
Right, and it comes with a glue, I'd like to add too. That glue is pretty expensive. Go ahead and tape up all your seams and your edges and everything like that. It's going to make everything look good, and it'll keep noise from coming up through the cracks.
And now onto the carpet.
Yes.
Now the temptation is to just grab it, throw it in the truck, and away you go, but you got to take your time with it.
Yeah, really what you want to do is you want to set it out in the sun and kind of just let it get nice and warm and malleable. Now, one of the things you want to keep in mind about the carpet is that it's actually a molded carpet. It is actually shaped to fit on the floor with the same exact bumps and humps and everything like that. So then after it's warmed up in the sun, we put it in the cab, and if I can, I leave it in there for days and days and days. It just molds in better and better and better.
Once you start actually laying the carpet down and getting it to fit, it's a job you can do by yourself.
Yeah, it's not nicer to have a buddy help you.
You don't have to run back and forth from one side to the other.
Right. We're going to start at the front, just like we did on our heat shield. We're going to go ahead and we're going to glue it on down. We're going to make sure our buddy's holding the carpet nice and firm, because right in this situation, sometimes it'll jiggle around on you, and when you glue this down, you're in it, baby. You bought it. So we get our front nice and secure. We roll the back of the carpet forward. We lay down our glue. Again, we're putting in the juding of the bottom of the carpet and on our silver top of the heat shield so that everybody's sticking really well. We're going to go ahead and roll it back with our hands, pushing down at the same time. And then when we get to the holes, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we've got those centered and marked, and we'll just keep rolling right on back until we get to the back end.
Stay right there. We're going to keep on trucking when Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, continues.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
We are making television here in our Borla studios at Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat. We've got our friends from Brothers Trucks here, and Dave Welch. You guys are the experts on every Chevy truck from 1947 to 1987. I am not an expert, but I can tell you that the seating position in these trucks is terrible. Yeah. What have you guys done to fix that?
Well, what we've done is we've made it more comfortable for you. You're going to come down a couple of inches. It's really where the factory should have put it in the first place. I'm not sure why they had it that high, but it's a lot more comfortable. Your arm is going to be even with this here when you're sitting out like that instead of this kind of deal. So it's just a lot more comfortable. It's still adjustable. You can get it exactly where you want it and then bolt it down and you're ready to rock and roll.
Now, we've pulled the seat out of this truck and we have noticed a little surprise, something we didn't expect.
Yeah, somebody's already cut into this and welded it back up and all that kind of stuff. Problem with that, Jazz, is, you know, all the time that it's going to take to do that. And then they had to kind of guess where to put it and stuff. We've taken care of all the guesswork for you. The brackets just bolt on, no problem at all. No cutting, no welding, no nothing. Just bolt them on, slide the seat back in, you're rolling.
Well, we got the seat in. It feels really good. The previous owner, as we saw, had it lowered.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the correct angle. And now, with your brackets from Brothers Trucks, it's sitting right. Feels pretty good.
Nice and comfortable. Almost done. One last thing you're going to want to do is you'll notice that it has the slots in the bracket. So I'll just go ahead and position this exactly where the customer wants it. Go ahead and tighten everything down, and then we are done.
Well, we're not quite done.
Not quite done.
Yeah, a few little things to add to the interior, so you can show me what the icing on the cake looks like.
Right. You always want to think about everything through, and I'm going to show you a few more bells and whistles you might want to think about at the same time.
All right, you know, Dave, if you've got your truck torn down to this level on the interior, there's probably some other stuff you want to do while it's stripped out like that. So what did you bring with you from brotherstrucks.com?
Right, you don't want to put a brand new carpet on there and then take this old dirty sill plate and put it back on. You're going to want to get new ones. While you're there, you might want to look at these rocker covers right here. They normally get all dinged and scratched up, and you're thinking, oh, I should paint it or something like that. Save yourself the time and trouble. You put these on, you look cool in no time at all.
Piece of cake.
Right.
Love it.
Gas pedal, brake pedal, all that rubber's been on there forever. You're going to want to replace that. We've got some extra little things that can make them look a little bit better. You got a couple different choices in that. So, you know, go to the catalog, go online, see all of your choices, think your project through, make sure you've got everything. You don't want to get halfway through and then go, oh man, you know what I should have done. You know what I should have got. So think it all through and get everything out.
And the thing I like about these is it's for looks, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Performance.
Right.
Because you're going to be able to grab the pedal with your foot.
Right.
And for safety for the same reason.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I really dig that. And what else did you bring with you?
Well, this right here is the high-low beam switch. And you don't want to put your carpet in just to take it back out and do a little switch like that. So you got to think about a lot of little things. For another little thing that you ought to think about is this guy right here. Now on the radios, a lot of original ones were taken out. People carved them all up. They put in the radio, and then you can see all the ugly stuff on the side. But if you go to our YouTube channel, Brothers Trucks YouTube channel, you're going to see a video that I did on how to install this, and a lot of other videos on cab corners, rust repair, etc., etc., etc. Just hundreds of videos for people to see.
Now, what if I'm not quite sure what I need for my entire project? How can you guys help me out?
Well, that's what everybody on the phone's there for. That's what everybody in the company's there for. We want to see your truck get back on the road, and we're there to help. Another thing, too, is you go to that YouTube channel, like I said, and there's a lot of videos there, and we're doing videos every single week to show you how to get your truck back on the road.
That's cool. Their YouTube channel is great, and their website's great, too. Check them out at brotherstrucks.com. Now, Joe, at NHOU Protective Coatings, you've figured out how to protect our cars from rust underneath and how to get rid of the rust that's already there. but now you've discovered a new problem you're addressing.
This problem was presented to us by one of our customers. And what's really cool about this is I was actually able to take part in a solution to this problem. I was not aware of the fact that many of these car manufacturers several years ago began in their attempt to go green, changing the coating on the wiring and the wiring harnesses, which are very expensive, from a petroleum to a soy-based product. Now, rodents already like getting in there in the first place. It's kind of a warm place, and now they really enjoy the taste of this new soy product. So we have a really big problem with the wiring harnesses, but we also discovered, because people are calling me and saying, hey, there's another application for this. I had HVAC guys call me up saying, they're into the wiring on the air conditioning condensers outside. And the RV people are telling me that, are a big problem. And I know I had one during the winter months. So this kind of solved the problem. And as a byproduct, when you solve the problem with the mice, you also solve the problem of corrosion. And what we've done is we've put a essential oil menthol in there. We know they don't like to touch this oil. We know they're sensitive smelling. We also added something that it disguises predatory scents like urine from a cat. Your nose won't detect it, but theirs will. And so it's a kind of a three-stage way of protecting you from rodent problems. And as a byproduct, rust.
You can check out the mouse out and all their other products at their website,
NHOilUndercoating.com.
We are not finished yet. Plenty more to come here on Motorhead Garage, presented by Topcoat.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Topcoat, is brought to you by Stage 8 Fasteners, home of the world's best locking header bolt. Locking kits now available for all turbo applications. Go to stage8.com. Counteract balance beads, balancing the wheels of transportation. Woody's Lights, off-road LED whips, lights, and other custom LEDs. And by Tribotex, make your engine last longer.
Tribotex isn't just another one of those additives out there you find for your oil. It actually has genuine outer space technology in it. And Pasha, how are you connected with NASA?
When we started to see results of these anisotropic nanoparticles in mechanical devices, we was a little bit afraid that the technology would be too expensive for earthly applications. So we went to NASA and asked them, can you fund us for space applications? They put small grant into research for applications to mechanical devices that run in the outer space. And it worked pretty good. They even featured us in the NASA spin-off magazine this year.
And it's not just NASA that you've teamed up with, you've also looked into some military applications as well.
That's right. Military mechanics do not get paid more if your stuff breaks more often. In fact, they actually rewarded the longer your machine lasts and stays in the top performance shape. So military is on it for many applications because most of the military machines are actually older than people who operate them these days.
And they're running on taxpayer money, so it behooves them to make it last longer, so Tribotex is perfect for them.
Exactly. They upgrade electronics, they upgrade artificial intelligence, but the mechanical components of it are outlasting the newest applications. And there's not been too much of an innovation on the mechanical parts, and we are bringing that innovation to military right now.
So what vehicles are we talking about specifically when it comes to the military?
I can't tell too much details here, but pretty much any machine that has to drive and shoot at the same time experience shear stress when you shoot it. So when you apply Tribotex, that parts get protected and machine as a result lasts longer.
Well, Tribotex is standing up to some of the toughest conditions in the world, stuff from the military, the Army, NASA, and even the Air Force, and you can check out more about that on their website at tribotex.com.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
Well, we're ready to hit the road with Masters Entertainment Group for another gig. This trailer right here, well, this holds my extensive wardrobe. We never leave home without the Magic Creeper because it's super easy to store. We keep it right in our truck. We're able to use it before we leave. We can check all the fluids in our vehicle. We need to do tire pressure checks. We want to be safe. then you just use the Magic Creeper as a kneeling pad at all 4 corners. And when you're under the hood, you can use it as a fender cover. That means you're going to protect your paint job. You're also going to protect your clothing from getting dirty. Then, should we get in trouble on the road, of course the Magic Creeper comes in handy. We're going to use it beside the road as a knee pad when we're changing tires. If we have something underneath the trailer or the truck, then we can use the Magic Creeper. All we have to do is roll it out, kind of like a bowling ball. Just let it fly under there, scooch it out just a little bit, plant your bottom on it, slide underneath the truck or the trailer, and you can do any of the safety checks or any of the fixes you need to make, and you can head right on down the road once again. If the weather is bad, this is what I love about the Magic Creeper. It's going to keep you dry, it's going to keep you clean. You can go under the vehicle. The part of the Magic Creeper that is on the ground is always going to stay on the ground. All the mud, all the dirt stays under you, and you never get to touch it. You are fresh and clean and ready to do a television show or head to a job interview or wherever you're going. Magic Creeper is durable. We've tried to mess it up with some tools and gouge it and things. The material is going to last for a long, long time, and it cleans up super easily. All you have to do is spray it just a little bit with a regular cleaner, use a rag, wipe it off, throw the Creeper back in your vehicle, and you are ready to go. There are a lot of imitators out there. You can find them everywhere online, but there's only one place where you can find the genuine Magic Creeper. That's at magiccreeper.com.
When you come out to get in your car, you're already late for work and the car cranks but doesn't start. You know what I'm talking about. Don't mistake that for a no crank. That's usually battery or starter related. I'm talking about where it turns over and it doesn't start. Well, there's 3 things you need for a car to run: compression, spark, and fuel. Now, compression, that's usually a mechanical thing. We'll go there last. You want to check spark and fuel. Spark's really easy to check. I'll show you how right here. You can come down here to the spark plug wire. Now, I don't want to pull on the wire. I want to make sure I twist the boot a little bit back and forth. Once I twist that boot and break it free, then I can go ahead and slide it off. If you pull it out, you just have to go back and repair it, but make sure it's free. Then I can go out and get one of these spark testers. Very inexpensive, and a spark tester is a tool. It's actually making a predetermined gap here. It has to jump, which makes the coil develop the spark to do it instead of just putting a screwdriver on there. Go ahead and crank it up. Man, awesome. You can turn it off. Now you can see it jump in that gap. Now I can determine the gap by moving the tool here, up or back. That's going to make the coil make the output. You want to make sure that it's a good blue dark spark. If you had spark, you would have to check fuel. Check fuel pressure. If you didn't, well, check your coil, check your pickups. Several things can go, but you can isolate what it is. Good way to test for spark.
Well, I regret to inform you that we are out of time. I sure hope you join us once again next week. If you have something you'd like to see featured on the show, email Jeff at masterstv.com. You can also check us out on our Facebook page. Lots of cool stuff to see there. So long from our Borla studios. We'll see you next week on Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat.